Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, this is kind of an update of what's happened, what I went through, and I have not, if anything's gone on in the world for the last week, I haven't been watching the news. In a normal 24-hour day, most people get at least, I don't know, 5 hours of sleep, and that's a minimum. They say you should get like 8 or more. And the reason is because your body repairs itself during that time. Another thing is when you're hungry, it's not always bad because your body goes into ketosis, which is, it stops burning sugar and starts burning fat. And so if when I'm walking around and I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping that much, and I was processing things. But the thing is, I don't want anybody to be concerned right now about it because I've processed it, and I've gone from being an introvert to an extrovert. And some people might think that would be manic depressive. No, it was I've made some what seemed like logical decisions at the time, but were incorrect, and it involves secrets too. So the first one is I want to describe not describe it, tell you when. You heard the first PTSD, and that was when brother-in-law attacked my sister, and I was going to go stop that. That was before I was out of high school. All right, so I wasn't even in the service. The next one, when they kidnapped, when Pam's husband at that time kidnapped the kid and wouldn't return it for a week. I was on leave. I was in the military. I was on leave. It's not service related, but a lot of that PTSD comes from those two incidences. No, I was never treated for it, and when it happened the first time, they didn't even call it PTSD. I think it was called shell shock, and wasn't in war. I was 17, or I don't even think I was 17. I don't remember when it was. I just know that the guy I was going up against was massive compared to me and my size, but I had an equalizer, and I was prepared to use it. And I'm glad I didn't. There's that incident and the other incidents, but several other. There have been times when I would have been justified in using lethal force, and I didn't. And I can tell you right now, all those people that brag about how they killed somebody, that's easy to do. Not killing somebody that deserves it, or at least deserves a bullet somewhere, that takes its toll on you. Because, anyways, I was processing through that. Then the other bad decisions that I made was when Sparky died, I decided I wouldn't have another animal. In all these situations, including the current one, I definitely can qualify for either a service animal or an emotional support animal. And what that does is no pet deposit and no monthly increase. And so all those times that I was hiding, this is not him, but when I was hiding Buddy on the back porch, I could have adopted him. All the times I was hiding Shadow and hiding from people, I could have adopted him. So when the last one comes up, Scrappy, and he says, look, how much more obvious can I make it that I like you? I follow you around. I fight other cats that are trying to get your attention. I'm your true friend. And they're like, yeah, he is. So I was going through the process of adopting him without knowing about service animals at the time. And this little kitten, I was trying to protect it from the very last day. The Huskies came through, and I brought her in. And then, she was already starting to bond with me, but by that time, it just became more solid. She even got to the point where I'd open the door, she would go the other way. She didn't want to go outside. And I thought, well, at least if I give her up, she's going to go to a good home. Well, the first person that Chad was talking about, the guy had like 3 days to get the cat if he wanted it that bad. And it sounds like he had lost a cat recently. So, I can understand you don't want another pet right away, but he had a kid, so maybe the kid is not going through what you're processing. So I was willing to give her up for that. Then the next door neighbor up there had been eyeing the cat, and I saw her and I said, I've got the little kitten, and Amber said it was okay to give it to someone who had paid the pet deposit and all that. Well, you have to pay a pet deposit on each animal and a monthly increase on each animal. So they already had a cat. It was a male cat, not neutered. And this kitten, I don't want her to be jumped by, any male cat, because rarely does a female cat get that option unless a human intervenes. They're basically breeding grounds for anybody, and they just go through a cycle of perpetual kittens. So the other option was her to go back to her family, but it was going to go to a farm, and the people that wanted the cats wanted more. And I already sent them a pregnant female, and they already had 5 kittens. So guess what? They're probably going to breed her too, or let her get jumped, not sterilize her. And in the life of it's not bad, a farm cat, because you take care of their medical issues and stuff, but you purposely don't feed them so fat that they're not going to chase mice. You leave them hungry, a little bit. And that's the way it is in nature. It's not that you're torturing them or anything, Animals either catch food or starve to death, But I was processing all that, and once I found out that it's just another... All right, so I'm sorry I'm jumbling on this, but it's just another stupid thing that I did. I held the glasses also. I'm adding these in. For 25 years, I didn't get glasses. Now it only costs $100 for exam. Who knows? In 25 years, I probably could have got a free exam somewhere. You see them all the time. Free exam and 2 pairs of glasses for $70. The exam itself, when I was talking to some people, they would say, "Oh, that's high and that's too much," and everything. I said, "That's cheap compared to what I've been spending my money on all the time, and could have had better vision." And the reason why I'm pulling my glasses down to my nose is because these glasses I always thought were a lower power prescription. They're stronger. It's like 10 or 11. My actual prescription is like 9 and something. So I'm pulling them down to get them in focus, not because my eyes are getting weaker. They actually have improved. I actually have 20/20 vision with correction, which the eye doctor said is unusual for someone my age. And I've been putting up with like someone having cataracts or scratched corneas and everything. Why? It's just because of wrongful thinking. I thought I was doing the right thing. So when I was walking along, normally, like I said, a person would get 5 or 6 hours of sleep. I got 5 or 6 hours in a week. Did you hear her? She's got that little trill. So, the reason why I didn't get any kitty litter for her at first, because I didn't think she was even going to be here that long. So I've been putting a towel in a cat box, but the other night I got the idea of getting some kitty litter of my own, and it actually worked. But she took these little clumps before, and I had to sweep the floor because she thought that was a good play toy. But that's one with the towel. I'm gonna get some real kitty litter, But she's already trained, and oh man, she's just I've forgotten how much fun it is to have a kitten, and you've also got to watch your step because they're everywhere. But as far as the going over to my sister's, when I was talking to Pam, I said, "Look, I'm going to be civilized and everything, but that was just another issue I thought I was going to have to process. It was okay. I need to work on my issue with her husband and get that straightened out, because I'm trying to get both of my sisters to talk to each other, and I can't really... my excuse was going to be, well, he's not a blood relation, he's a brother-in-law. but still, holding a grudge for 13 years, uh, that was just another dumb thing. So when I come through the door, I'm expecting the worst. I was really prepared to either settle it now and forever, or walk away forever. And he said hi, and we just started talking. I mean, I just immediately, I'm like, how can you hold a grudge against somebody that says, hey, in a long time no see, you know? And yeah, if you're still holding that grudge because, oh, I'll tell you why you haven't seen me, and what's that going to solve, you know? So I didn't expect to, but we just sat there and started talking. Yeah, I could pick this little girl up. Yeah, she knows how to be carried, don't you? She don't like that light in her face. Douse that light. But I brought a whole backpack full. I brought that fully loaded. Believe me, fully loaded with knives, guns. Not guns, knives. Walkie-talkies. I figure the kids might want to play, with the walkie-talkies. Pam's got one nephew. I won't say his name because in my openness and everything, the last one there's another video that's pending. I've already got it uploaded. I'm just getting people's approval because it's all right if you open up on your secrets, but when you start mentioning names and stuff like that of other people, not everybody wants to open up. Not everybody wants to give up all their secrets. And I realized that after the first video, and I started filming the other video, and I didn't publish it for that fact, that I had to edit out names. And I left Chad's name in because he'd been in there before. I talked about Chad. I can't make you unremember something that you've already heard. I can delete a video, and it might prevent new people from doing it. So on the second one that I did, now the first one was an hour long, and that was an experiment because that's another life-changing thing. I could do live streams. I could do, for example, the video that I put up that was an hour long, I only had 2 gigabytes of memory left in my phone. If I tried to upload that, it would take forever. I mean, hours. I just experimented with it with just 2 gigabytes. It put that whole 1 hour and 7-minute video up on there with no problem. It was actually faster than if I'd done like a 15-minute video. So also one of my nephews, when I last saw him, he was 4 years old. He's 17 years old now and tall, really tall. But I talked to him the most, and I wound up giving him 2 Olight flashlights, a regular one, a rechargeable one. And then I asked him, I said, are you allowed to have knives? And he goes, yeah, and more. And I do. I'm like, okay. Well, I got some knives out here I want you to look at, and you take your pick. Now, I had a Boker Kalashnikov automatic Tanto I'd recently got that almost brand new. And then, a couple others of those. And these other knives I was bringing here just in case, I didn't know, just to show off. I mean, to tell people, pick one if you want. I had the Dozier in there too, but I got it in my pocket. And I told him, here's my website and everything. Just prepare yourself for the latest video, because that one and the other one I filmed. Now the second one, like I said, I went through it. Whenever I went and said somebody's name, I just looked through the audio section on the film, and if I say like Joe right here, it'll spike up in there. I just chop that out. So when you see it, it seems like it's intermittent, but no name is in there. And that's another thing, when I was talking to people about a neighborhood, if you got it public on a website, then other people are going to spy on neighbors and find out about neighbor stuff. And here I was using a regular name, so the second one is good, but I just wanted to show it to them. And it's been a holiday, so I don't want somebody to go through and ruin their holiday, with watching this. And it's no urgency, it's no hurry. I put it up there unlisted, and only people with a link can see it. And I think only my sister has seen it so far, because that's the only one. Me and my sister are the only ones that seen it. I was gonna send the link to again. You know, who's gonna sit through? That's what my older sister sent an email voicemail message and said, "We need to talk. If I was 100 miles closer, I'd be banging on your door." And she told me her husband, she identified what it is. It's PTSD. I never thought about that. But in a way it is, because it started off with 25 years I didn't get glasses. For 13 years I held a grudge. For 50 years I kept a book secret that only my wife and I knew about. And only reason why my wife and I could talk about it was we were both in the same career field. So it wasn't secret to us. But nobody else knew it even existed. So now it does, and one of the maintenance guys that comes in, he goes, "Can I take a picture of this?" I said, "Sure, man, I'm going to put it up to the whole world here eventually." He's like, "Yeah, because I've got a buddy of mine that, you know, nobody believes that, any of these ever exist." And the reason why it's not that it's secret, it's outdated information. And what they do is, whenever they do change pages for when there's certain, they can still prevent from having to rewrite the whole manual. And then when it basically becomes outdated, like a new model comes out or something of the aircraft, they destroy the old ones. Not in a classified area or anything like that, because it's not classified. The only way these books can be classified is if I wrote frequencies down in it, even on one page. That would make the entire book classified as high as the level of, and it was secret, it wasn't top secret, high as the level of clearance that I had on there. And it doesn't take an act of Congress or anything else. It just takes me writing that down in a book. Well, that's safe, because I've memorized them before, but my memory's gone, so that secret's safe. You could torture me. I just make stuff up, but I wouldn't be able to come up with them. Now, if I Googled it and looked at it, I could remind myself. But again, much of this stuff, the people that really that want to know it and everything, like the Russians or whatever, our enemies, they already know. B-52D models were shot down in Vietnam, and I'm sure they found ECM gear in it, because we had it nose to tail, either receivers or transmitters. So if any of that survived, they know exactly what we got. Also, Jane's Defense Industries, they had advanced knowledge that we could neither confirm nor deny. But that's where I would get my information on a lot of stuff coming up. Because at the time, it was the ALQ-119 pod. And then they were starting to come up with a little bigger one called the 131 that was going to be integrated into it. I found out all that information from Jane's. I'd go to the base library, and it's a reference book, so I'd just take it over to a section and start reading about electronic warfare and our stuff, and in the Navy, because the Navy's got a lot of it too. And the Army has some, because they have some, mostly helicopters. But still, I kept this, that's per secret 50 years. For 25 years, I didn't get a glasses just from wrongful thinking. And then all these pets that came up to me offering love, I could have adopted them, but I didn't think I could afford it. So, in the process of walking around and processing all that, I didn't mentally. I wasn't going through any anguish because I was solving problems, but physically, my God, I don't know how I got that, but the end of that finger is starting to heal up. But you bump into that. That's the longest part of your finger. You bump into stuff all the time. This one I don't know what it got, but it got infected. The whole thing was swollen, so I started treating it. This one here is pretty nasty. Was the kickstand on the bike? Usually I use my foot, but I used my hand and I levered it up and pinched the crap out of it, and just damages, slips and falls, wipeouts. I almost had a wipeout on the scooter because I hit some mud and it just got squirrely. It fishtailed. I managed to maintain it, but one night I was walking through right by the sidewalk downstairs, and I tripped, and I luckily didn't land. I fell all the way across it and landed on my side. But I was bumping into things constantly, got dings and bangs and everything. But it's just working it out because now I'm in a much better place. The way I found out about emotional support animal, talking to people, talking to new friends. The way I got Wi-Fi, talking to people, new friends. I'm not trying to get anything out of it. It's just that people offer things, and you don't get any of this. You don't find any of this. Like with Chad, I could have gone through and considered him a civilian puke and just build up this anger every time he does something that disturbs me. Or in talking to him, I can just understand, that's his nature. He he's a Marine, and Marines got a lot of stuff to process when they get out of the service, and as does anybody. Like I said, I'm not. Some people poo-poo the idea of PTSD, but it's real. It really happens, and I didn't think it could. I didn't think that something that long ago could still affect me this long, this much later in my life. But anyways, I just wanted to put that up. I'm going to put that other video up, and then from now on, I'm going to. So that was another thing. Every time I would try to go to sleep, I would think I went from caring about nothing to caring about everything. I need to clean this up. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to get this done. I could work on that. My mind was going 1,000 miles an hour, and I couldn't shut it up. And like I said, the people that say take melatonin, I understand. That it works for some people, but I took one. I waited an hour. I got slightly drowsy. After an hour, I took another one. Nothing. It did nothing for me. And it's not good, they're starting to find out it's not good to take it on a regular basis because your body is supposed to produce it. And if you start supplementing it, I don't know if it stops producing. Again, I'm not a medical doctor. This is stuff I heard. But because I have the ability to do live stream, I'm behind on another giveaway. And I haven't put it up there. I just told... I don't know. Maybe I've already done the giveaway. But normally, if I do a magic word, I at least respond to it. I haven't responded to much of anything. Like I said, you have 109 notifications on your YouTube channel. Some of those are from other channels and stuff. But I will get caught up on all this. And as far as the giveaway for this month, I'm thinking about doing it on a live stream. The only problem with that is... besides our regulars, we could just get people that, all they're looking for is a giveaway. So, I might do the actual giveaway. I'll probably do that on the live stream. That, when I just sit there and put the names in a random generator and it just pops up and we see who it is. I think I'm going to do that from now on because, with this Wi-Fi capability, man, there's so many things I could do. A lot of stuff, like doorbell stuff, it said, you need Wi-Fi for this. I've got a little remote mini Wi-Fi camera somewhere. It'll only operate on real Wi-Fi, not your phone's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth and stuff like that. So, this is just a rambling preamble to let you know that I'm okay. I'm actually better than okay because I've given up. Like I said, all of my secrets except for maybe, you got to have some secrets. But in the process, I was starting to dox some of the people around here, using their actual names. And so far, I think the only ones that I did it in the first video was Chad and his mom. I can't undo that. But from now on, I'm just going to mention Chad's name and not hers. And people have to unremember that or whatever. But they're really nice people, A lot of this stuff, you're not going to find out about the person unless you talk to them. One of the Marines I was talking to, he has they're a mixed race marriage, He's white and she's black. And because I never talked to her, she always thought I was racist. you know? And it's just assumptions. You don't know a person, so you just start making up stuff. And the only way to resolve it is to talk to them. And you might find out you're totally wrong. You're totally wrong in your assumptions. And if you keep on going on like that, you might say, oh, don't talk to him, he's a racist. Really? It doesn't seem like that to me. So that's all I'm saying. I'm processing everything. I'm getting over it. And my brother-in-law, I was thinking, well, I'm going to have to work. I'm doing the best I can, but I'm just going to have to work on that one with him later on. And then I thought, well, if I'm trying to get my sisters to talk to each other, and they're at a point where I am with my brother-in-law, how am I going to be able to say, I got over it, and you did, you guys should get over it. The only thing I was going to be able to have to my advantage was he's a brother-in-law. He's not blood relation. So you owe it to your family, I think, a little bit more to try to resolve issues. But I totally understand. My father did the same thing with his sister. They wouldn't speak to each other. And people can just hold grudges forever. And there's no real reason to. I mean, something that happened 13 years ago, you should have been able to process that by now. If you wanted to make a statement, I could have made a statement within, 2 or 3 years of not coming in, then the caving in, instead of 13. I watched a nephew that the last time I played with him, he was 4 years old, and now he's 17. I missed that entire time of talking to him, of developing. Now he's a young man. He's going to get into welding and everything. His life is good, but I'm sure he went through some stuff that he could have had an uncle to talk to that would have helped him. So he's got the link to the both my websites and everything. And if he pops in here, he doesn't have to identify himself. Like I said, anonymous is helpful in many situations. And just because you're open about your life doesn't mean you should open up everybody else's life with it. So I made some mistakes in doing all this. I definitely took some damage, but there's nothing broken. Everything is going to heal. And like I said, the channel is going to improve greatly because of the things I can do with Wi-Fi now. And the videos that I can upload, I'm not limited by. I am going to keep it down to at most 30 minutes just because, it's kind of hard to watch an hour-long video unless it's something, that's actually going on, like a race or something like that. But anyways, this is the last part to clean up. And I need to clean up because the little kitten can get up here, and she was getting up here and slipping and falling and knocking stuff to the ground. And I was like, okay, girl, yeah, I'm going to get to that. So thank you, everyone, for bearing with me on this. And I'll just start popping up a bunch of videos of the kitten training that I went on. At first, I'm calling Kit a he. Don't be mean to your son, because we all assumed, since she's so rambunctious and everything, that it was a male cat. Later on, we finally figured that out. But, yeah, there you go. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I brought home 4 plates for neighbors. The entire 13 years that I've lived here, I've never been on speaking terms with all 4. Well, actually, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait a minute. 2, 4, 6. There's 8 in this little landing. My door and the one down there, opposite side. That's 4. And then the same way downstairs. I know everybody. All of those. First name basis. Talk to them on a regular basis. That's so unusual for me. Before. Now it's just going to be a regular thing. And I'm not making a gang or anything. This is just a neighborhood where if you walk by and, well, I don't know, that person is suspicious, you better watch out. No, you know who they are. You wave and you say hello, And all my other issues with my teeth and stuff, the reason why I'm not smiling is to keep people from freaking out now. It's not because I'm concerned about it. I know how to talk without showing very many teeth, but I'll get that fixed next, First glasses, then the teeth, and then Yeah, if you want to see facials and stuff, we'll do it, but people judge you. Even if you're just missing one tooth, oh, he's ignorant, he's a stupid hick. And they identify you by that too. I've seen it in workplaces. When they're trying to describe somebody by race or something, he's the guy missing teeth. Oh, yeah, I know who it is. And so that's how you become identified, is by your differences. And in some cases, you might need it, a witness. You have to be accurate with your description. But in most cases, it's just what sets you apart from everybody else is how you're described. And anyways, I'm rambling again. I'm not completely over this, but I got 6 hours of, maybe 7 hours of sleep last night, almost continuous. I just had to get up to go to the bathroom. So I'm pretty much over that as far as like walking 40 miles and getting 6 hours of sleep in a week. So if I'm behind, you'll know why, and I'll try to get caught up on everything. And really, things are going to get a lot better. I mean, I don't care what the world is doing right now. In my personal life, things are going to get better, and that's what really matters the most, is not what's going on in the world, as long as it's not directly affecting me right now. And that's not that I'm going to be isolationist or anything. Anyways, I'm rambling, so thanks for watching. Thank you for putting up with me, and really, everybody, just have a good day.